Seeking Alpha, Sharesight, and Quicken Premium all promise to make managing your investments easier, but once you compare them side by side, the differences become clear. I tested all three to help you find the portfolio management software that really best fits your investment needs. But before actually diving into the programs myself, I just wanted to know what real investors were running into. The kind of problems that maybe just don't show up on a feature list and that people will talk about in the reviews and on forums and stuff. I mean, every platform promises clarity, control, and better returns, but user reviews, that's where the truth starts leaking out. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the real story always lives in the one-star section. So that's where I started, and let's say what I found was revealing. Take Quicken Premier, for example. One user said that he paid full price, only to find that the software didn't even load. He felt completely stuck holding a product that just wouldn't even work. And that's pretty rough, right? I mean, if that were to happen to me, that would suck, right? But here's the thing. While I don't know exactly what went wrong for him, like software glitches like that usually come down to system compatibility or failed install or like a browser issue. I've used Quicken Premiere myself on both PC and Mac, and while the setup isn't lightning fast, I didn't like hit anything close to that wall of like just not working at all, right? Plus, with thousands of longtime users backing it and not having that issue, including this one guy who's been using it for over 20 years and still calls it powerful and simple, I'd say that that issue sounds more like an outlier than the norm. Sharesight had its own hiccup too. One reviewer said that he reached out about a transaction issue, and while the support team responded quickly, the actual reversal still hadn't happened like a week later. Fair complaint, especially when it comes to financial records. Like delays like this can really shake trust in the platform. But again, in my own experience, Sharesight's support team was really responsive, detailed, and fast, and most users actually just highlighted how well Sharesight simplifies tracking performance, dividends, and taxes. So while it sounds like a frustrating delay, it's probably not a common pattern here either. Now, Seeking Alpha, this one hit a nerve. So a user signed up for the Alpha Pick service and realized within minutes that it wasn't for him. But since there's a no refund policy, he lost over $500. He felt, in his words, legally robbed. Now that's a pretty strong reaction, and I get that kind of thing. Like, no one wants to feel trapped into a purchase, but this is where using a credit card really gives you some insurance, right? Like a chargeback could have been an option if the product truly didn't deliver what was promised. But again, we don't know the full story here. What I do know is another user reported a 56% return from AlphaPix in just 1 year, calling it the real deal. That kind of performance doesn't happen by accident. For him and many others, the service wasn't just worth the cost, it beat expectations. But reviews are only half the story. The real question is, when you actually use these tools, which one truly simplifies your portfolio, and which one just adds another layer of clutter? Tracking investments is a core feature of any portfolio management software, and all three platforms excel in different ways. Quicken Premier allows users to monitor multiple asset classes, including stocks, mutual funds, and retirement accounts, while providing in-depth reports on investment portfolio management. Sharesight takes it a step further by offering stock portfolio management tools that not only track gains and losses, but also account for dividends, currency fluctuations, and corporate actions, making it an excellent choice for global investors. Seeking Alpha, while not a dedicated tracker, provides a portfolio management app where you can input your holdings and receive insights on stock health and performance. If I had to name a winner here, Sharesight comes out ahead for one reason, and that's automation. It doesn't just track, it saves you from having to track things manually, and that's where the real edge is. Alright, next up is stock research. If you're focused on stock investing, you need powerful tools to analyze your holdings and to discover these new opportunities. To me, Seeking Alpha is the clear winner in this category. Unlike Quicken Premier and Sharesight, which mainly focus on tracking, Seeking Alpha gives you access to a massive library of premier, just like high quality articles, expert opinions, and stock ratings. So their stock portfolio management apps are high quality. They also include quant ratings, which use an algorithm to evaluate stocks based on a bunch of factors like valuation, growth, and profitability. So this really all gives investors a huge advantage when making buy or sell decisions. While Sharesight does provide some analytical tools, it doesn't compare to Seeking Alpha's depth. For dividend investors, Sharesight is hands down the best platform though. It's basically providing automated dividend tracking, which is like a stock portfolio management dividend and reinvestment tool. And it has a future income projection feature that helps you anticipate cash flow in. So this is something that Quicken Premier and Seeking Alpha simply don't offer at the same level. When it comes to taxes, as I mentioned before, Quicken Premier is the strongest. It includes built-in tax reports, it helps you track capital gains and losses, and it even integrates with TurboTax for really easy filing. If you're looking for the best portfolio management software for individuals who want seamless tax reporting, Quicken Premier takes the lead in this category. Now, let's talk about what makes each of these platforms really unique. So, Quicken Premier is the only option that includes bill management, budgeting, and debt reduction planning, making it a solid choice if you want a more holistic approach to investment portfolio management software. Sharesight stands out for its international market coverage with support for over 30 global exchanges, making it really a top choice for investors who have holdings outside the US or outside, a lot of their countries that they're in. So Seeking Alpha is really just unbeatable when it comes to stock portfolio management tools that give you this deep research-backed insights. And after testing all the features, I think it's clear that all three of these platforms really bring out some serious value. But in the end, no tool is perfect, right? So let's talk about the downsides. Nothing major, but if you're planning to use any of these, I think here's what you should know, and a couple things I noticed firsthand. So Quicken Premier can feel a bit overwhelming at first, but again, once you learn how to get used to the learning curve, the depth of control that it gives you over budgeting and investments is really worth it. With Sharesight, I'll admit the free version feels pretty limited if you're actively investing in multiple markets. You'll quickly want to upgrade past that, but honestly, the time it saves me on tax reporting alone more than pays for the plan. Seeking Alpha does throw a lot of information at you, especially if you're new to investing, so it can be a little overwhelming at first, but here's the thing. It's overwhelming because there's so much value packed in. So once I started using their filters and focusing on the research that I needed, it became one of the smartest investing tools in my arsenal, especially Alpha Picks. It practically spoon feeds you the best stock ideas already vetted. So yeah, each of these has a quirk or two, but nothing that broke the deal for me. And honestly, the benefits you get far outweigh those little trade-offs anyway, especially if you're serious about taking control of your investments. So after weighing the pros and cons, the next question is, what's this actually going to cost you? And let's be real, good investing tools are not going to be free, right? And in my experience, you usually get what you pay for. That said, none of these platforms really felt overpriced for what they offer. Quicken Premier is reasonably priced considering how much it costs and what it really does, especially since it's basically a full financial command center. If you're managing multiple accounts and you want to stay on top of both your spending and your investments, it pays for itself quickly. Sharesight starts off free, which I liked when I was just testing the waters, but to unlock all the features that actually save you time and give you value, like dividend tracking and tax reporting, you'll probably want to upgrade. It might be priced a little bit high for the casual investor, but if you're serious about optimizing your portfolio, it's money well spent in my book. Seeking Alpha sits in that a premium zone, I think. Some say that it's more on the high side, but for the level of research, data, and stock analysis you're getting, it felt justified to me, especially if you're using the alpha picks and following through on the strategies. They're clearly designed for long-term value. Check the links in the description to see their latest pricing, fees, or commission structure, and definitely look out for any promos or discounts going on. We'll do our best to keep them updated so you don't miss out. So here's the bottom line. There's no one-size-fits-all tool, right? Quicken Premier is best if you want full financial control from budgeting to taxes. Sharesight shines for basically dividend investors and global portfolios. And Seeking Alpha, it's more just unbeatable for like that deep stock research and discovering your next big move. If you're serious about investing and not just guessing, each of these tools can really play a really powerful role in your toolset. But the key is just finding that right tool for what you need. So check the links in the description for updated pricing, exclusive promos, and free trials so that you can test them for yourself without wasting money or time.